Radical.
Let's talk about James Harden for a minute, but before that, one quick thing to note. Kyrie Irving said something hilarious, and maybe he said this because he's wanting to get a 4-year extension. He said he looks forward to the next 4 years of dominance from the Nets. Dominance. This is a team that actually just got bounced, swept in the first round. That is fucking hilarious. Kyrie's always got something funny to say. That might be the funniest, craziest thing Kyrie's ever said. Of course, he's just looking to get a 4-year extension. But interesting, not entirely unrelated, is the team, the 76ers, who had that big trade. They traded players with the Nets. Most notably, they traded Ben Simmons, who has an owie my back, and also his pride. A lot of things are hurt with Ben Simmons. I don't think Ben Simmons will actually even play an NBA game in the future. Well, maybe he might. I'm not sure. It won't be for a while, though. So place your bets on that, on the future of Ben Simmons. Who got the worst part of the trade? I don't know. You have one guy who is young and has a lot of potential in Ben Simmons to be good, great defender, but for some reason he's scared to play basketball. Then on the other end, you have an aging superstar who seems to be aging before our very eyes. A year ago, this guy was putting up 30-plus point games, like just a year ago. And right now, let's look at the box score here. Well, I got the Bandicam open. Let's look at the box score, all right? Now, I'm not going to focus on the Heat, but we're going to focus on the 76ers. All right, Tobias Harris played 38 minutes, had 21 points. Then we have Tyrese Maxey, who's emerging as a great player here. Played 43 minutes, had 34 points. So he led all the players in. Who's this guy right here? A person I generally thought was one of the most powerful offensive forces in the NBA. When you think scoring, you think Mr. James Harden. Fear the beard. I don't think anybody fears the beard anymore. He played 41 minutes and he got 20 points. Also, if you look into his stats, he was 1 for 5 from 3-point range. This is the playoffs. Maybe this is playoff Harden. Playoff Harden's notoriously never been as good as regular season Harden. But they made a trade. Traded away Ben Simmons. They traded away Seth Curry. They traded away another player. Forget his name. But they got James Harden. They got 20 points in the playoffs. Now, I know he had an injury a ways back, a hamstring, but I don't think that's the problem. I don't think that is. I think it might have caught up to him. All the weight gain when he was actually putting on weight to try to force his way out of Houston. And the thing I'll say about James Harden that he has in common with Ben Simmons is they might have to change the rules around a little bit in the NBA, the player empowerment. One thing that Ben and James has in common is they will do whatever they need to do to force their way out of teams. James Harden gained weight, just seemed lackadaisical, and then Rockets had to get rid of him. Then he forced his way out of the Nets, believe it or not, who had that trio, right? Forced his way out of the Nets to get there. Now, Embiid's injured. Embiid is the actually big story of this because he has a orbital fracture. He's injured. So that's one big reason that the 76ers are struggling. James Harden can literally hide behind Embiid's amazing play. Maybe he thought he would get him a ring because Embiid would actually force them to the finals and possibly, beat the Suns. Now, there are losers in this. James Harden is a loser. The 76ers are losers. They will lose this series. They are not winning 4 out of 5 against this team that has an emerging Tyler Hero, has Bam Adebayo. My apologies if I mispronounced that. You got Jimmy Butler. He's a dog. Kyle Lowry was out. So when Kyle Lowry if he gets back, they're not, mark it down, they are not beating the Heat in this series. You know who's the big winner, though? Outside of all these losers? Doc Rivers. I bet he is smiling ear to ear. The best thing that could have happened to him and his future coaching for the 76ers is a injury to their star player. Now, hey, all the pressure's off of him. He could just be like, hey, what you going to do? Yeah, we got swept. What you going to do? Embiid was out.